Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thank you for joining me. There's two ears in this, both very different. And this first chap, I actually met him last year, and I think he brought one of his kids in, and we said, well, so just have a quick look at yours, if you like, 'cause it's polite to ask if anybody else wants a quick examination. For no extra charge. I never charge for just having a look in someone's ear when they brought somebody else. And we found this quite pronounced trench in his ear. Now, he didn't have any problems with hearing loss, but he always described a feeling that there was just something not quite right, a bit itchy, a bit irritated, and you can probably see why, can't you? Because he's got this really pronounced trench just as it's coming out of the ear. So when the skin and the wax is naturally trying to travel out, kind of falls in and collects in this little bowl at the bottom of his ear. Now, it was really black and thick last time, so I suggested maybe it just comes to me maybe in a year or so, and let's just clear it out before it gets to that point, because you can just see what an impact it's had on the skin there. Made it quite thin. It's like a little slide as it comes out the ear, isn't it? Really pronounced. And he's got the exact same thing in the other side. So it tells me that it's a congenital issue, and by congenital it means born that way. But he notices a bit of a difference after you remove it. It's more to prevent it becoming a problem, really, to be honest. Because if that starts accumulating in that bowl, and as you can see, the skin's a bit more fragile there than it is in the rest of the ear canal. So it's good to get it out to prevent it becoming too much of an issue in the future.
Have you got any audiologist in mind?
Because the first time we removed it, when it was this thick, black, hardened lump, I think it did feature in one video last year. Don't ask me to remember which one it was. I have no idea. I don't keep a track of them like that. Once they're out there, that's it, gone, forgotten about. That's how my memory works, or doesn't work, so to speak. So he comes every year just to get that removed out, just to prevent it from becoming an issue. Now, a second chap here, I hadn't actually seen this chap before, and when I looked in it, I thought, oh, what's going on here? Quite a long, thin, narrow ear canal. It was difficult to get things in here, and you can just see how dry and flaky it is, can't you? All around the edges there. And he suffered with a lot of itching. Not surprising, really, when you look at all this. But he did describe that he has psoriasis on other parts of his body. And it's not uncommon to have the same issue in your ear canal. And I certainly suspect that's probably what he's got here, as well as a bit of inflammation, bit of irritation. But as well as that, obviously he couldn't hear very well, because you can see there's a big collection of it deep down there. And it is quite deep down as well that it's collected. I think I'm going to get some oil in a bit, and you're going to see the old dream sequence. Now, what's the old dream sequence are you talking about? I remember, now you see it on lots of films, don't you, when you get this waving and they go off into a dream. I remember it from Wayne's World, where they go, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. You'll know what I mean if you've seen it. It's just about to come now. And I've left a lot of the blurring in. I usually edit it out. But I just wanted you to give you some idea as to how much of a pain it can be when someone says, get some oil in. And yeah, that's all well and good saying that, but can you see what you're doing when it's like this? The answer is no. It's really difficult, because as you put the camera in there, you see it fine, can't you? And then as soon as you put the suction tube in, it does that. It just attracts all the oil around it. And it makes it really difficult to see what you're doing. So if you're struggling, imagine how I'm feeling when I'm doing this procedure. It's really tough. But you persevere with it. Enough oil will disappear up the tube that it doesn't become as much of an issue. But that's why sometimes don't always put oil in when you think it might be the easiest thing to get it in, to get the wax out, by the way. But that's the reason why we don't always do it when you think it should be obvious to us that we should put it in. It causes that problem. And you're forever having to come out and wipe the camera lens of the endoscope. Now, already his hearing is restored here, still a little blur. It does clear up in a bit. still a little blurry here. But I'm going to do my best to get as many of these. This is the fiddly bit. Getting the bulk of the plug out is what you should always do first. Because I hear a lot of people ask me, oh, why don't you start around the edges? There's a simple reason for that is someone's come in there because they want to hear again. Now, if you spend 10, 15 minutes faffing around with all these bits around the edge and all of a sudden they've said, no, I've had enough, and you've not fixed the problem. So they still can't hear. So it's the first thing you should always do. Fix the main problem, go for the bulk of the issue, and then deal with anything else afterwards. Because it's all a bonus, all this stuff afterwards. It's a bonus. It's not essential that you get it all. But I think we've got most of it. Maybe 1 or 2 specs left, but nothing of any consequence, to be honest with you. I've left Dad Joke of the Day out of the last couple of episodes. I'd be honest, I don't put them in ones where there could be potentially a serious issue. Sorry, I just noticed my phone's going off. Turn that off for a second. I'll get that later. That was the missus. She can wait. Anyway, let's do Dad Joke of the Day, shall we? And I have got my sound effects board ready, just in case you're wondering. Right. How do you tell the difference between a bull and a cow? It's either one or the other. Terrible. I went to buy a pair of camouflage pants, but I couldn't find any. That's even worse. What's black and white and goes around and around? A penguin in a revolving door. That's actually quite good. When I was a kid, it says mom here. I'm not going to say mom because it's mum. When I was a kid, my mum told me I could be anyone I wanted. Turns out, identity theft is a crime. That's good. Let's have one more. No, that's awful. If money doesn't grow on trees, then why do banks have branches? Absolutely terrible. But isn't that the point of them? They're not supposed to be good. That's the whole point of them. So as you can see, we're nearly drawing to the end of this. You know, a lot of these flakes are not going to be affected in much. Might be a little bit itchy, but it's obviously fine and tube I'm using here. Get as many as I possibly can, just to prevent it from becoming too much of an issue for him in the future. And think back to what it looked like when we first did it. I was more than happy with everything we got. I think I forgot about that little bit on the left there. There's only so much time in each appointment, to be honest. You can't always get every spec. But it's a lot better than it was when it first came to me, I'll tell you that for nothing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more. Lots of interesting ones coming in the next few days. But for now, take care of yourself. Thank you. I haven't even finished yet. Got a few wax babies out, as usual. But for now, take care of yourself. Pardon me, and I'll see you later. Ta-da. Oops.